The Hate You Give is now in theaters. It's the newest young adult adaptation. And going into it, I didn't know what to expect because I saw a lot of commercials for this film. And so I was thinking in my mind, okay, it's just another young adult adaptation of a book. But and then heard that it had a limited release at first before going into mainstream. And I thought that was very interesting because I was like, okay, so clearly this is a film that thinks it's going to be Oscar contender material, so here we go. So the story is about a young high schooler who, her name is Star. She goes to a fancy school, but she doesn't live in a fancy neighborhood. And she goes to the school where she acts differently than she does at home life. And home life, she just also doesn't feel fully like herself. So this is like almost a coming of age film, but it's also got that whole angst about the film where it feels like a young adult adaptation as well as that coming of age story, along with the grit of like crime films. And that is interesting. I did like that aspect of the film. I also liked the acting. I think I'm pretty sure I'm saying this correctly, Amanda Stenberg, really good actress. I think she did really good. Definitely redeemed herself after the terrible Darkest Minds that came out this year. Also, I think it's nice to see Anthony Mackie, as small of appearance as it is in this film. I think it's nice to see him take a step back from Marvel films and just kind of go back to the serious films that he did before Marvel. You know, like he was in $1 Million Baby and he was fantastic in that. So it's nice to see him go back to his roots, so to speak. I also really liked how this film had messages that, to me, some of them weren't really fleshed out enough. And it just made me think a little bit, whilst other messages, they did fully flesh out. And I liked that. I liked it because a lot of times young adult adaptations don't really have the balls to actually try and even focus on the issues that this film covers. You know, and I like that. I don't think it fully covers it in a way, and I'll get into the negatives, but I like that it actually at least took a shot, you know. Also, I have to say that I liked how this film started off. I'm usually not the biggest fan sometimes of narration, but I think the narration of this film in the beginning, it was warranted, because I feel as though if it wasn't for the narration, they would have had another 40 minutes and then nobody would see it, because young adult adaptations, they're not going to be 3 hours long. Like, yeah, if it's a film geared towards adults, yeah, sure. But this is a young adult adaptation, and obviously I want young adults to see this film so that they can try and appreciate what this film has to offer. And also, I liked how this film was shot. It's not mind-blowing or anything, but it's solid. It's passable. So again, it is a solid film. But I do think that this is a film that, as I touched upon a little bit, it's a film that doesn't fully realize the messages that it has, and it doesn't fully realize that this is the type of stuff that doesn't really warrant happiness. And I feel as though the ending is kind of a cop-out. I really do feel as though the ending wasn't warranted. To me, it was like, oh boy. I kind of reminded me of Crash, the movie Crash, if I'm being 100% honest. And again, I'm not going to spoil that movie either, but it does remind me of that, where it's like, I don't know if that fully works. That's just how I felt. Also, I mentioned how the narration kind of saved the film from being 3 hours long, but this is still 2 hours and 15 minutes. And in some places, it does feel like it is the duration that it is, which is unfortunate. Also, for adults, if adults are watching this film, not young teenagers like 13, 14, 15, there's a movie that came out earlier this year called Blind Spotting. Blind Spotting focused on the same messages, even more so, even more messages, fleshed them out even more, and is a masterpiece, in my opinion. Blind Spotting is a film I would recommend. I would say check it out. But if you're not really into the whole independent film scene, I'd say that, okay, give The Hate You Give a shot. And if you like films more like that, then give Blind Spotting a shot. But The Hate You Give, still, as nitpicky as the negatives might be to some, I still think that it is a flawed but handsomely adapted film to where it is extremely important to view for young adults. And that is the audience for the film, so I'm recommending it. I'm giving The Hate You Give a 3.5 out of 5-star rating. Or for those like hot sauce letter grade, Texas Pete hot sauce. This is a film that I do think that it's not just for young adults, because it does have that whole social commentary. But again, I know where it's geared towards to, and kind of like with my Love Simon review, I know that it's not fully meant for me, but I still appreciate what it had to offer, and that sometimes is enough that you need, you know. But guys, the hate you give, did you guys hate it? Would you guys give it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and feel free to contact me. It'll be super easy, barely any